Marvel has never really explained or classified the mutants. However, we know that some mutants may have godlike powers, such as Jean, Magneto, and Professor X, while others might have powers that are nothing more than party tricks. So, there has always been a need to classify mutants. From whatever little information that the comics provide on mutant classification, we know that some are classified as Omega-level mutants, who are nothing short of godlike, while others are Alpha-level mutants, who come right after in the power hierarchy. Some even say that Alpha-level mutants are those who have complete control and understanding of their powers, and it's just that they could be mistaken as humans when they are not using their powers. No matter what, some Alpha-level mutants are so powerful that they can very well take down just about any Omega-level mutant. In this video, we will explore the top 10 such Alpha-level mutants. Let's begin, shall we? Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Gambit. Remy LeBeau, also known as Gambit, had a rocky start in life. Born with fiery red eyes, he was abandoned at birth. Not the warmest welcome, right? But things took a twist when he was snatched from the hospital by members of the New Orleans Thieves Guild. They had this wild idea that he was the prophecy child who would bring together the feuding guilds in the city. Little Remy found himself in the hands of a bunch of street thieves who raised him and taught him the art of thievery. But here's where it gets interesting. When he was about 10, Remy tried to pick the pocket of Jean-Luc LeBeau, the head honcho of the Thieves Guild. Instead of getting a scolding, he got a new dad. Jean-Luc adopted the kid as his own son and trained him further. He's got this nifty ability to take the potential energy stored in an object and turn it into kinetic energy. In plain English, he can charge stuff up, and when he lets it loose, things go boom. He likes to charge up small things, like those playing cards he's always carrying. They're quick to charge, and when he tosses them, they explode like grenades. The bigger the object, the longer it takes to charge. But there's a catch. He can't use his powers on living things or organic stuff. So, no turning people into walking time bombs, thankfully. His powers have gone through a few makeovers over the years. Sometimes, they've cranked up the volume, other times dialed it down. Once, Sage boosted his powers to make him heal faster and control his kinetic mojo better. Then Phasa helped him shoot a bullet back at a guy who shot him in the head. He can make things fall apart without blowing up, turn people's senses haywire to knock him out, and amp up his own physical abilities. Rogue. Rogue's background is quite the wild ride. Her parents, Owen and Priscilla, tied the knot early in their relationship, and like that hippie commune life in Mississippi's Caldecott County. As a baby, Rogue, whose real name is Anna Marie, got some lovin' from her Aunt Carrie on her mom's side. Things went haywire when the commune tried to pull off some Native American mysticism to hit the far banks, and it ended up with Priscilla going poof, vanishing into thin air. Aunt Carrie stepped in as the new boss in town, but she was pretty strict and had a heavy hand in raising Rogue. As you can imagine, Anna Marie wasn't exactly thrilled about it. The tension with her old man and aunt made her hit the road as a teenager, and that's when she picked up the nickname Rogue. Rogue's got this power called power absorption. She can snatch up the abilities, energies, memories, knowledge, and even the personality of anyone she touches. It's not limited to just superhuman powers either. She's grabbed the strength, agility, and smarts of regular folks too. Oh, and she can even absorb psionic abilities, making her the ultimate talent thief, which is interesting because she has married Gambit in the comics. When she makes skin-to-skin contact, the power transfer happens, and she gets the whole package, including all the feelings and memories tied to it. The cool part is, Rogue can stack up all these powers at once. There's no known limit to how many she can have at the same time, or how strong she can get. But this transfer isn't permanent. The powers and memories wear off after a while, usually 60 times longer than she was in contact with the person. Yet in rare cases, it sticks around for good, like when she grabbed Miss Marvel's powers and made them hers forever. What's wild is she accidentally snagged Sunfire's powers permanently when she got his life force, so she can leave you powerless. Sebastian Shaw. Sebastian Shaw's journey started in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, when his mutant power first showed itself. He had just scored a spot in engineering school, which folks think was probably at Carnegie Mellon University. Sadly, this also coincided with his father, Jacob Shaw, falling victim to an incurable disease. That loss hit hard, but Sebastian poured his heart and soul into his studies and went on to establish Shaw Industries. He was a millionaire by the time he hit 30, and a billionaire by the ripe old age of 40. Now, Shaw's immense wealth caught the eye of Ned Buckman, who was running the New York branch at the time. Thanks to his fortune and a little help from pals like Warren Worthington Jr., the father of Archangel's dad, Howard Stark, and Sir James Braddock, aka Captain Britain, Shaw got an invite to the Hellfire Club. He joined the Council of the Chosen and snagged the title of Black Bishop. Now, about Shaw's mutant mojo. He's got the ability to absorb kinetic energy. When someone smacks him, he doesn't just take the hit, he turns it into a power-up. The more you throw at him, the stronger he gets. But to take him down, you need some unconventional tactics, like messing with his head or going all-out psychic on him. He can soak up blows, bullets, and even electricity or energy beams to some extent. Without all that energy, he's just an everyday strong dude, but he usually keeps his power cranked up by, get this, punching walls to stock up on energy. Forge. Forge is a remarkable mutant with a gift for invention that's as natural to him as breathing. He's of Cheyenne descent, and although he initially trained as a medicine man, he leaned more towards technology than mysticism for his craft. This choice led to a falling out with his elder brother, Naze, and Forge decided to swap his tribal ways for military service. During his time in the army, he rose through the ranks and even served in the Vietnam War, but a twist of fate saw his commander meet a grim end at the hands of the enemy. In a fit of rage, Forge summoned a bunch of demons using the spirits of his foes. To clean up the otherworldly mess, he had to order a B-52 bombing on his own position, costing him his right leg and hand. It also opened a door for a nasty demon called the Adversary to pop into our world. This experience made Forge pretty wary of using his mystical powers. As years went by, Forge got some cybernetic replacements for his lost limbs. He found his calling as an inventor, especially when Tony Stark stopped making fancy weapons for the government. One of his early gigs was creating a device to detect shape-shifting aliens known as dire wraiths. Later on, he cooked up a contraption that could neutralize mutant powers. Forge's mutant ability is all about technology. He can look at machines and see how they work, which helps him conjure up, modify, or even break down all sorts of gizmos. It doesn't make him a smarter inventor than Reed Richards or Tony Stark, but it sure makes the process a whole lot faster and more intuitive for him. He's crafted everything from cybernetic gadgets to fancy holograms, and he's a dab hand with computers and fiber optic systems. Additionally, Forge has a knack for sorcery, and he can do things like opening portals to other dimensions, casting a so-called spirit sight, and even swiping souls to amp up his mystical spells. Sunfire. Shiro Yoshida was born in Agarashima, Japan. His mother's exposure to the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima had left her with radiation poisoning, an event that transformed his life and left a mark on Shiro as he developed mutant powers tied to solar radiation. Sadly, his mother succumbed to radiation poisoning when he was young, fueling Shiro's resentment toward the United States. This bitterness grew, even though his father, a United Nations ambassador, held more tolerant views about the US. However, his uncle, Tomo, acted as a catalyst in his transformation into Sunfire, which led him to harbor a deep vendetta against the United States. As Sunfire, he even attacked the US Capitol and took on the X-Men. Tragically, Shiro saw Tomo killing his father. Driven by grief, he avenged his father's death by eliminating Tomo and turning himself to the authorities. Later, he found himself in battles with the likes of the Submariner and Iron Man. The Mandarin abducted him at one point, using his powers to fuel a machine. When he was freed, he joined forces with Iron Man to take on the formidable Ultimo. Now, Shiro's mutant powers revolve around solar energy manipulation. He can tap into solar radiation and other forms of radiation to create superheated plasma, which he calls solar fire. This allows him to envelop his body in flames and wield abilities like flight, firing plasma blasts, and forming plasma shields. His heat signature sense lets him detect beings by their temperature, and he's got a psionic force field that safeguards him from the intense heat and radiation he generates while using his powers. Richter. Julio Esteban Richter, better known as Richter, had a tough start in life. As a child, he had to witness the murder of his arms-dealing father by the time-traveling villain Strife. Things took an even darker turn when the anti-mutant group known as the Right captured him and amplified his already uncontrollable earthquake-generating powers, causing chaos in San Francisco. Thankfully, Richter's story took a more hopeful turn when the original X-Factor team came to his rescue and accepted him as a trainee member. Boom Boom played a crucial role in talking him through a severe emotional crisis during these chaotic times. Though he was recaptured by the Right shortly afterward, X-Factor managed to free him once again. Richter's unique mutant ability grants him a deep connection to the Earth and its biosphere. He can sense everything from the shifting of tectonic plates to the tiniest ant or seed in the ground. While he's best known for causing seismic shifts and earthquakes, his powers have expanded to allow him to control plant life, magma, and even engage in terraforming. Additionally, Richter is a clairvoyant which grants him the ability to gain visual information about objects, people, locations, or events without relying on his physical sight. He can perceive spiritual and psychic beings, as well as understand the emotions, thoughts, and memories of others. He can also project his consciousness into the spiritual world. His seismic energy manipulation powers allow him to generate and release powerful vibrations, often through his fingertips, which can shatter objects, create earthquakes, or even enhance his physical abilities to superhuman levels. Moreover, Richter has formed a psychic and empathic bond with Earth's biosphere, much like Storm, which grants him the ability to harness and manipulate various Earth energies, including geothermal and geomagnetic forces. Tempest. Eva Bell has the ability to manipulate time within specific spheres. She can both slow down and speed up time at will. Eva typically used her power on a small scale, but her potential was immense. Her fear of the extent of her powers sometimes made her hesitant to use them. Eva's life changed when she was out with a friend one night and encountered David, a boy she had a crush on. The evening seemed to be going well until her fiercely protective brother Steven arrived. Steve and David's friends had a severe argument and confrontation. Overwhelmed and anxious, Eva's powers manifested in a destructive way. She created a temporal sphere encompassing an entire city block, effectively halting time within it for 20 hours. Confused and frightened, Eva was discovered by Cyclops, Emma Frost, and Magneto. They revealed to her that she was a mutant with temporal abilities, and with Emma's guidance, Eva managed to restore time to its normal flow. However, the situation escalated when an Australian task force attempted to take her into custody. The X-Men intervened, ultimately saving her from this perilous predicament. As a member of the Five, Eva plays a crucial role in the mutant resurrection protocols. Her time manipulation abilities allow her to accelerate the growth of genetic eggs, bringing them to adulthood in an exceptionally brief span. Together with her fellow members of the Five, Eva's powers have been crucial in revitalizing the mutant population. To put her powers in perspective, Eva can dramatically slow down time within a specific area. Her control is so precise that individuals within her temporal field would require a century to take a single step. On the flip side, Eva can accelerate time to such an extent that several decades may pass within her sphere in a few minutes of real time. Polaris. While many are aware of Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch being the offspring of Magneto, fewer know about his third child, Polaris, a long-standing member of the X-Men. Polaris shares her father's magnetic field manipulating abilities. However, her powers are more profound, in the sense that she can sense magnetic and electrical patterns in her surroundings. Though not quite on par with her father's mastery, Polaris is extremely powerful. She's a force to be reckoned with. Entangling with her in battle is best avoided. Lorna Dane was the daughter of a woman named Susanna and Magneto. When Susanna's husband Arnold found out about it, the couple had an argument. In her desperation to quell her parents' fight, a very young Lorna unwittingly triggered her magnetic abilities, resulting in a magnetic pulse that downed the plane and claimed the lives of her parents. It was this incident that also gave her her unique green hair. Lorna miraculously survived the crash and was discovered by her true father, Magneto, as he was drawn to the scene by her magnetic pulse. Fearing she wasn't ready for her powers or the life he could offer her, Magneto asked Mastermind to manipulate Lorna's memories, causing her to believe that her parents had perished in a plane crash when she was just an infant. As an alpha mutant with primary and secondary mutations, Polaris lost her powers on Wanda's M-Day. Subsequently, Polaris became Pestilence, with Apocalypse grafting celestial technology onto her spine. Quite interestingly, this somehow reactivated her X gene and her latent powers. Her powers include the manipulation of magnetic, electrical, and gravitational fields. Her control extends to fine-tuned tasks like nearly liquefying, mending, and reconstructing metal, even having some influence over the ferrous elements found in everyday objects. She once used her powers to mend silverware and fashion a metallic suit akin to Magneto's iconic attire. Havoc. Havoc possesses incredibly destructive mutant abilities that should not be underestimated. Cyclops has the remarkable power to absorb solar radiation and project uncontrollable optic blasts with concussive force from his eyes. These optic blasts are potent enough to punch through mountains, yet they can be challenging to control. In contrast, Havoc draws on cosmic radiation, which he channels into superheated plasma waves. However, his power can be hard to manage, making him a potential danger to those in his vicinity. Hence the need for a specialized containment suit. Some of Havoc's key abilities include the continuous absorption of cosmic energy, the capacity to store and discharge energy as plasma waves for disintegration or concussive blasts, and the ability to absorb various energy sources. He's nearly impervious to heat and radiation, can sustain himself using absorbed energy, and projects precision plasma waves with substantial destructive potential. In essence, Havoc is a force to be reckoned with when he's in command of his powers. Exodus. Bennett du Paris, born in the 12th century, always sensed a hidden power within himself. As a Crusader, he became close friends with Eobar Garrington, the Black Knight of that era. Together, they embarked on a quest to find the Tower of Power in Akaba, associated with the mythical Eternal Pharaoh. However, things took a twist when Dane Whitman, the 20th century Black Knight, and Cersei were transported back in time to the 12th century. Eobar's mind occupied Dane's body, raising suspicions. As they encountered Cersei, Eobar, now in control, abandoned the quest, leaving Duperre resentful and on a solo journey to the tower. After enduring treacherous sandstorms, Bennett collapsed, and a mysterious voice offered him a choice: to risk everything to become one of the strong. Accepting the challenge, his latent mutant powers awakened. Soon after, Cersei and Dane were captured by Apocalypse, only to discover that Bennett had been transformed into Exodus. He recognized them as the same individuals from the 20th century. Apocalypse ordered Exodus to eliminate the Black Knight, but when Dane refused, Cersei attempted an attack to no avail. Exodus defied Apocalypse and was subsequently stripped of his powers, sealed away in a Swiss Alps crypt. Months later, Dane found the crypt, where Exodus remained trapped in a coma-like state due to a curse. Telepathic abilities like tracking, cloaking, mind control, illusions, paralysis, amnesia, and psionic blasts are all part of Exodus's powerful mutant skill set, allowing him to manipulate minds and project his astral form. Marvelous verdict. So yeah, although these people are not Omega-level mutants, their powers and abilities are nothing short of extraordinary. They can do things with ease that many of the Omega-level mutants would struggle to do. I believe conviction and confidence can get you to places that powers and abilities cannot. And that's quite true for us humans too. I don't want to sound preachy, but if we chase qualifications and skills, success will chase us. All it takes is a bit of perseverance. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.